The engraving system is one of those systems in the game which, again, is not really clearly explained as to what it does, what it means, and how you do it. And it kind of took me a while to get my head around exactly how it all worked and what I needed to do and what I needed to focus on and how to make it work for me. So for the longest time, I thought the engraving system was the faceting system. I thought that was engraving, and it's not. It absolutely isn't. Just that's one system. There's actually multiple systems that all work in sync, and they all need to work together. Now, in the most simplistic way of describing this, you need to gather blue pips. That's it. You need to gather your blue pips, and you need to keep the amount of red pips down to a minimum. Now, to kind of briefly sort of summarize how engravings work is that you have different types of engravings that do different things, and they have different levels. And the more pips that you get in any particular thing, the more of a benefit that gets. So for example, looking at my character profile under the engraving tab, we have spirit absorption. And this has lots of pips. I've actually got 15 pips in this one, which means that I get level 3. So for every 5 that you get, you achieve a different level. So level 1 requires 5, level 2 requires 10, level 3 requires 15. Now, if we look down here at drops of ether, I've got 2 pips in there. I don't get any benefit from that because I haven't achieved the level 1. So as we can see here, if we look on the right-hand side, with level 3, I get 15% attack and move speed increase. So the different systems that are contributing to this are, I think this is your birthstone, I think it's called. I don't even know the name of this properly, to tell you the truth. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert, but it's this item that goes in here, and presumably that one, but I don't have that unlocked and I don't know how that works. But so there's this one, and then you've got your jewelry here, all your accessories, and then these down here. So these are your books. Okay, so let's start looking at the books. So you have 2 different categories, shall we say. And the way that these work is that these are your combat bonuses, these are your class bonuses. So these are specific to your class, and these are general to all classes. And whenever you get a book, let me just open my inventory just to give you an example. So I've got all these books here. Now, if I was to go and open up one of these, I could pick any of them. Let's see, what do I not have? I have Crisis Evasion. Drops of ether. I'm just going to pick one. Right, so Crisis Evasion, just because that's the first in the list, right? So if I was to open this, go into my inventory, and I can learn Crisis Evasion. As you can see, it adds another pip to that. So in order for me to get anything from that, I need to get 20. Right, I need to open 20 of those books, and then what that'll give me is 3 blue pips. So you can see here on Drops of Ether, Spirit Absorption, and Grudge, I have 3 pips, 6 pips, and also 6 pips. And this is because I've managed to upgrade mine. I've managed to get 20 books on these to get me to the 3. So 20 green books to get me to the 3 pips, and then another 20 blue books on each of these to get me to the 6 pips. And then if I got another 20 of those, it would then give me presumably 9 pips. So then I would be able to just drag these into, so for example, I could put that there, and then I get 6 pips into Grudge. And if you look on the engravings, there we go, I've got 6 pips in Grudge. Now that's not particularly what I want, so I'll change that back, and you see that the Grudge disappears and the firepower increases, right? So it's quite simple. I'd probably say the hardest thing that you need to think about in this respect is trying to figure out what's going to be beneficial to you. That's going to be the hardest. But you can look through them all and just be like saying, oh, well, is this going to be useful to me? Is this going to be useful to me? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then like disrespect. So I think this one might be good for me, for example. So if I had level 3 damage to foes with 30% on lower health, plus 36%, that's pretty cool. So, I could work on that one if that was the way that I wanted to build my class. So ultimately, it's your decision as to how you want to build in any particular class. So once you've done like your books, for example, then you can turn your attention to your stones here. So these are things that you can facet, and the way that works is you have the potential. Let me see if I've got a stone here to show you. So this is like a blank one. And I would go and facet this, and this particular one has enhanced shield and increased mass, and there's always like a downside to this as well. So there's move speed reduction. So what you do is you'd facet this, and if you're not sure what faceting is and how it works and how to get the most out of it, then I would suggest that you check out my guide on the correct way to facet your stones, and that'll explain it. But essentially what you're looking for here is to see, okay, well, I could get, for example, a maximum of +8 on enhanced shield in theory. So I can get between 0 and 8, and I can also get up to +8 on increased mass. So if those are two things I was looking for, then that would be really good for me to try and do that. Now, the one that I'm currently using, you can see I've got +7 on spirit absorption and +5 on awakening. So that's really good, but it's got a +3 on defense reduction. Now, it's important to pay attention to the defense reduction, or the negatives, because if we look here, defense reduction, I've got 4 pips in that. So if I was to get any more pips in defense reduction, then that's going to activate, and then I would get -5% defense. It's not a problem right now. Where it is, it doesn't matter because it's not activated. And the idea that you want to kind of go with is like, okay, something's got a negative, that's fine, but can you spread those negatives around to different areas? So for example, if I wanted to push my awakening, for example, and I got a stone which would give me that potential, I'd want it not to have defense reduction on there. And the same goes for these items as well. So the items work in the same way. When you acquire them, they roll a random attribute. And so for this ring, for example, the firepower enhancement, I get +1 on it, and the magic stream, I get +2 on it, and move speed reduction, I get +2 on it. So if that move speed reduction was actually defense reduction, that would push me over, and I'd actually be taking more damage. So I'd want to avoid that in that particular case. And now, while we're talking about the jewelry, this is the last part of the puzzle, essentially. So this is why you want to be looking at all your different jewelry. Don't look at the basic effects, and don't look at your bonus effects, right? I mean, well, the bonus effects are kind of cool and they're good to have, but you want to be really paying attention to the bottom section, the random engraving effects, because this is going to make a big difference to you. And there's a lot of randomness that goes into this, and you're probably starting to realize that it's not going to be an easy task to get the things exactly how you want them to. Yeah, and that is pretty much it. You're not going to get the things that you want easily. You got to work on it. You'll go through so many items in order to find the ones that you're looking for. There was one thing that I did find that was really useful though, in terms of getting items that I wanted, and that was linked to the Chaos Dungeon. So when you do your Chaos Dungeon, if you do it more times than the twice daily that grants you the big rewards, you can still enter this dungeon and you can still get rewards, you see. And what you end up getting is these shards. So I would get the Guardian shards, for example, but if you were lower, you'd get like the perception shards, and you'd also get these disorder crystals. And so it depends on your level of the dungeon that you're doing. I'm tier 2, but this applies to tier 1 as well. And what you do is you come across to this exchange chaos dungeon shard. So for the tier 1 exchange, for example, if you come across, you get these necklaces and these rings, right? You've got different qualities of them, and they cost different amounts of shards. So like 15 for those, or if you wanted these epic quality ones, it would cost 20. And so what you can essentially do is, I could buy like 15 of these pieces of jewelry, for example. I could buy any of them. Let's just do it with, I think I've got a couple of, I've only got one actually. I'll do it as an example. Oh, nope, I don't have enough on that one. Let's do it on tier 1, sorry. So let's just say, for example, I won't use this because, whatever. So if I exchanged it for that, and I could buy, like I say, 15 of them. There's no limit to the ones you can buy. So we've got a Forbidden Magic Necklace. There we go. Forbidden Magic Necklace. And this essentially, it rolls at Vital Hit Point, Node +2, and Attack Speed Reduction +1. So if I was going for that, so if I was going for the Vital Hit Point engraving, then that would be great. But you might find that you're going through a lot of these, and it's perfectly reasonable to say, okay, well, yeah, I'm going to buy 20 of these and just look through them all, because there's nothing else you can spend these crystals on. They're just basically there to buy these things, and that's it. And you can grind out the dungeons all day, every day. You just get loads of these and just keep grinding through the materials. And then the ones that you don't want, it's just a case of dismantle them. And there you go. And this is actually a really cool tip, because these fragments that you get from them, you can use or you can sell, because these aren't bound. These are just destruction, so just the regular fragments. And that's pretty cool to say that, like, this is just like a little bonus tip as well. You can actually just grind the Chaos Dungeon non-stop, obtain these disorder crystals, grind those, exchange those for jewelry, and then grind them up and then sell those on the market. Just out of interest, I'm going off on a little bit of tangent here, but I'm just going to check to see what the prices are of those right now. So those are sold in like bundles of 10 for like 3 gold. It's not a lot, but it's something, you know, it's something there. So you can do that and make a little bit of profit on there. But yeah, hopefully that gives you a better idea as to how the engraving system works. You know, just simple case of try and get it in multiples of 5s of the things that you're looking for, and try and spread out the red dots as much as you possibly can. That's the long and short of it. I mean, you can filter out your different items here to show you what's giving you what specifically. I've not found that overly useful, but if you're trying to track down like what's giving you like a negative effect on something, then, you know, maybe that's worthwhile doing. But yeah, hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully that helps you get your head around the way it works. If so, give me a thumbs up. If you've got any questions, if something wasn't clear, let me know in the comments, and then maybe hit that subscribe button if you like to sort of see this kind of content, and I'll see you in the next one.